My child. You can almost feel it, a ripple in the air, a sudden hush in the spirit, as if the world itself paused to catch its breath. Something you did, perhaps without even realizing its full weight, sent a shockwave through someone's heart. Their reaction was not small, it was seismic, a moment that nearly brought them to their knees. In the unseen, a message is forming, gathering strength like a gentle wind before the rain. You are not here by accident. There is a reason your spirit was drawn to this very moment, to these words, to this sacred pause in your day. Have you ever sensed that your actions, even the quiet ones, carry a significance far beyond what others see? This is one of those times. The urgency in the air is real, something has shifted, and the heavens have taken notice. Yet, in the midst of this swirling energy, there is a deep calm reserved for those who are chosen, those who are anointed for such a time as this. You are not overlooked. You are not forgotten. The world may rush and react, but heaven moves with purpose, and you are at the center of that divine attention. There is a contrast here, as sharp as lightning against a midnight sky, the chaos of human emotion, the shock of discovery, the trembling uncertainty of what comes next, set against the unwavering peace that God offers to those who trust Him. You may feel the urgency, the quickening of your heart, the questions rising like a tide. But beneath it all, there is a stillness, a reassurance that you are being held, guided, and protected. The very fact that you are listening now is a sign that you are being aligned with something greater than you can see. Stay with me, because what is unfolding is not just about what happened, but about what is about to be revealed. The message forming in the unseen is for you, and it carries the promise of clarity, comfort, and a new chapter. Within days, you will sense the shift, peace returning, answers surfacing, the storm giving way to stillness. Let your heart settle into this moment. You are not alone in the shock, you are chosen for the stirring. And as the story continues, you will see how every tremor leads to a deeper calm, every question to a greater truth, every moment of uncertainty to a reassurance that cannot be shaken. The next step is already being prepared for you, and the signs will become unmistakable as you move forward. Even before you heard these words, something in your spirit was already stirring, a gentle nudge, a quiet invitation, a sense that your name was being whispered in places you could not see. You may have felt overlooked, passed by, or even misunderstood by those closest to you. Perhaps there have been moments when your heart wondered if anyone truly saw you, if your quiet sacrifices and silent prayers mattered in the grand tapestry of life. Yet, in the unseen realm, your name has been spoken with honor, your presence noticed by heaven itself. You are not just another face in the crowd, you are beloved, anointed, and chosen for a purpose that reaches far beyond what others may recognize. There is a holy weight to your existence, a significance that cannot be measured by human eyes. God has marked you, not with the labels the world tries to assign, but with the seal of divine favor. You are not here by accident. Every step you have taken, every tear you have shed, every hope you have dared to hold on to has been seen and cherished by the one who formed you. The world may have tried to define you by your past, your mistakes, or your limitations, but heaven calls you by your true name, chosen, called, set apart for such a time as this. Can you sense it? The spiritual activity swirling around your life, the gentle orchestration of moments and meetings that have led you to this very point. There are times when you may have felt invisible, as if your prayers were echoing into silence, as if your dreams were too fragile to survive the storms. But the truth is, you have been divinely noticed. Angels have been assigned to your journey, and the hand of God has been guiding you, even when you could not see the path ahead. The contrast is striking, the world's dismissal versus heaven's appointment, the sting of being misunderstood versus the comfort of being fully known and deeply loved. You are not defined by the opinions of others. Their inability to see your worth does not diminish the value God has placed upon you. In fact, it is often in the seasons of being overlooked that your true calling is being refined. Like David tending sheep in the fields, or Esther hidden away before her moment of destiny, you have been prepared in the quiet places for a purpose that is about to unfold. The unseen realm has been active on your behalf, aligning circumstances, softening hearts, and opening doors that no one can shut. You are being drawn, not by chance, but by divine design. There is a reason you are here, listening now. The timing is not random, the message is not generic. It is tailored for you, for the questions you have carried, for the ache you have felt in the hidden places of your heart. You are not just being reassured, you are being reminded of your true identity. You are a beloved child of God, anointed for impact, appointed for influence, and called to walk in a peace that surpasses understanding. The world may have tried to convince you otherwise, but heaven's verdict is clear. You are chosen, you are called, and you are seen. Let this truth settle over you like a gentle covering. You are not alone in your longing to be understood, nor are you alone in your journey toward purpose. The spiritual activity around your name is evidence that your life matters, that your story is not finished, and that your best days are still ahead. Even now, God is weaving together the threads of your past, your pain, and your promise into a tapestry of redemption and hope. The contrast between being dismissed by people and being appointed by God is not just a comfort, it is a calling to rise, to believe, and to step forward with confidence. As you breathe in this moment, allow yourself to release the weight of others' opinions and embrace the truth of your divine identity. You are not here by accident. You are here because heaven has summoned you, because your name has been spoken in the courts of angels, because your life is destined to make a difference. The stirring you feel is not just emotion, it is the echo of your calling, the confirmation that you are exactly where you need to be. And as you continue, you will begin to see how every unseen movement, every hidden prayer, and every quiet act of faith has been preparing you for what is about to unfold. The story is not over. In fact, it is just beginning to reveal its most beautiful chapters. As you settle into this moment, you may sense a tension beneath the surface, a quiet struggle that isn't visible to the eye, yet is deeply felt in the soul. There is more happening around your life than you realize, a spiritual discussion unfolding in the unseen, where your name is spoken with both gravity and grace. In this sacred space, your intentions are being weighed, your heart is being considered, and the truth of your story is being defended by voices that know you far better than any earthly judge. You are not alone in this battle, even when it feels as though misunderstanding and accusation are closing in from every side. Have you ever wondered why certain seasons feel so heavy, why your motives are questioned, or why your actions are misinterpreted by those you long to be close to? It is because your life carries weight in the spiritual realm. There are forces that seek to distort, to sow confusion, to turn peace into chaos and connection into conflict. Yet, in the courts of heaven, there is a different conversation taking place. Here, the fullness of your heart is known. Every intention, every silent prayer, every act of kindness that went unseen by others is brought into the light. Your name is not just a word, it is a testimony, a story being written with care and defended with honor. The stakes are higher than you might imagine. This is not just about reputation or relationships. This is about the restoration of your peace, the vindication of your character, and the unfolding of your destiny. The enemy would love nothing more than to keep you tangled in the chaos of accusation, to convince you that you are alone, misunderstood, or unworthy of restoration. But heaven's perspective is different. Where the world sees only fragments, God sees the whole picture. Where others may judge by outward appearances, the Spirit searches the depths, bringing truth to the surface and silencing every false word spoken against you. In this unseen battle, your heart is precious. The angels assigned to your life are not passive observers, they are active defenders, standing guard over your story, interceding for your peace. There is a weighing of intentions, a careful sifting of motives, and a holy advocacy that refuses to let your name be tarnished by misunderstanding. The contrast could not be clearer, the chaos of human accusation versus the peace of divine advocacy, the noise of earthly judgment versus the quiet assurance that comes from being truly known. You may feel the sting of being misread, the ache of words twisted or motives doubted. But do not let the chaos define you. In the unseen, your story is being told with accuracy and compassion. The truth is not lost, it is being preserved, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. Heaven is not silent about your pain. God is not indifferent to your struggle. Every tear, every sigh, every longing for peace is gathered and treasured, woven into the larger narrative of redemption that is being written over your life. What is at stake is not just your comfort, but your calling. The restoration of your peace is a signpost for others, a testimony that God is able to bring clarity out of confusion and beauty out of brokenness. The truth of your story matters, not just for you, but for those who will find hope in your journey. The battle may be unseen, but its outcome will be visible. Peace will return, restoration will come, and the truth will speak louder than any accusation. Let this assurance settle deep within you. You are not fighting alone. Your name is being spoken with honor in places you cannot see. The chaos of misunderstanding is temporary, but the peace that comes from heaven's perspective is eternal. As you move forward, trust that every unseen battle is working for your good, and that the truth of your story will shine brighter than any shadow of doubt. The next movement is already stirring, and soon, you will witness the shift from chaos to peace, from accusation to affirmation, as heaven's verdict is revealed in your life. As the unseen battle quietly unfolds, you may begin to notice subtle changes in the atmosphere around you, gentle nudges, sacred echoes, and moments that seem to shimmer with meaning. These are not random, they are signs and confirmations, woven into your days by a loving God who delights in speaking to his children in ways both mysterious and unmistakable. Perhaps you've glanced at the clock and seen mirrored times, 11:11, 2:22, or other repeating numbers, just as a thought or prayer crossed your mind. Maybe a dream lingers in your memory, vivid and persistent, carrying a message that feels both personal and profound. Or you sense a sudden restlessness, a stirring in your spirit that gives way to an unexpected calm, as if heaven itself is whispering, "You are on the right path." These moments are not coincidences. They are sacred confirmations, gentle reminders that you are not walking alone. Divine alignment often reveals itself in the ordinary, an unexpected conversation, a song that plays at just the right moment, a phrase that seems to leap from the page and settle in your heart. The world may call it chance, but you know, deep down, that these are the fingerprints of God, the quiet assurance that the unseen is becoming seen, that your prayers are being heard and answered in ways you may not fully understand yet. It's easy, in seasons of uncertainty, to question whether these signs are real or simply wishful thinking. The fog of confusion can settle in, tempting you to overanalyze every detail, to search for meaning in every shadow. But gentle spiritual awareness is not about striving or straining. It is about resting in the assurance that God is always communicating, always guiding, always confirming His love for you. The clarity you seek does not come from frantic searching, but from a posture of openness and trust. When you release the need to control or decode every sign, you make space for the Spirit to bring true understanding. Notice how the energy shifts when you move from anxiety to surrender. The restlessness that once kept you awake at night begins to soften, replaced by a peace that surpasses understanding. The contrast is striking. The fog of uncertainty, heavy and disorienting, gives way to the gentle clarity of spiritual awareness. You begin to recognize the difference between confusion and confirmation, between the noise of your own thoughts and the quiet certainty of God's voice. The signs become less about seeking answers and more about sensing presence, knowing that you are seen, known, and guided every step of the way. If you find yourself doubting, remember that God is not the author of confusion. His confirmations are never meant to lead you into fear or obsession, but into deeper peace and trust. When a sign is truly from Him, it brings a sense of alignment, a quiet yes in your spirit, even if you don't have all the details figured out. Sometimes, the most powerful confirmations are the simplest, a sudden calm after a storm of worry, a gentle assurance that you are exactly where you need to be, a sense of being held even when nothing around you has changed. Allow yourself to receive these sacred confirmations without pressure or performance. You do not have to earn them, chase them, or prove their meaning. They are gifts, reminders that you are loved and led, that heaven is closer than you think. As you become more attuned to these signs, you will find that clarity comes not in a rush, but in a gentle unfolding, a dawning light that dispels the fog, a steady hand that guides you through uncertainty into peace. Let your heart rest in this truth: you are not lost in the crowd, nor are your prayers lost in the noise. The signs and shifts you notice are invitations to trust, to lean in, to believe that God is working all things together for your good. As you continue on this journey, you will see how every confirmation, every energetic shift, is drawing you closer to the clarity and reassurance you've been longing for. And soon, the path ahead will become unmistakably clear, illuminated by the gentle light of divine guidance. As the signs and confirmations settle in your spirit, a deeper voice begins to rise, a voice of authority, compassion, and unwavering protection. In the quiet, you sense the presence of Archangel Michael, heaven's appointed guardian, drawing near with a message that is both gentle and strong. "Beloved one," he whispers, "you are not alone in this. Heaven has seen your heart, weighed your intentions, and stands ready to defend your peace. There is a sacred invitation here, to step out from under the shadow of guilt and into the lightness of being guided by love. Too often, the world tries to bind you with the weight of obligation, to convince you that your worth is measured by how much you carry or how quickly you respond to every demand. But heaven's counsel is different. Discernment is your shield, and peace is your compass. You are not called to move from fear or compulsion, but from the gentle nudges of genuine care, those quiet promptings that bring a sense of rightness, even when the path is unfamiliar. Michael's presence is a reminder that you are protected, not just from external harm, but from the inner storms of self-blame and anxiety. Release the heaviness, he urges, for it was never yours to bear. Let go of the voices that accuse, the memories that replay, the doubts that linger. You are covered by grace, surrounded by angels, and held in the steadfast love of God. The contrast is clear, the heaviness of guilt and self-reproach versus the lightness that comes when you trust the one who leads you with love. Discernment is not about suspicion or fear, it is about tuning your heart to the frequency of peace. When a decision is before you, pause and listen for that gentle assurance, a quiet yes that settles your spirit, or a subtle unrest that signals caution. Michael reminds you that true guidance never manipulates or coerces, it invites, it reassures, it brings clarity without confusion. If you feel pressured or burdened, step back and ask, is this the voice of love, or the echo of old guilt? Heaven's counsel will always lead you toward freedom, not bondage. You are being watched over, not just in moments of crisis, but in the everyday choices that shape your journey. Michael's sword is not just for battle, it is for cutting through the lies that keep you bound, for defending the truth of who you are. You are not defined by your mistakes, nor are you disqualified by your doubts. The peace that surpasses understanding is your inheritance, a gift that cannot be taken by fear or shame. Trust the gentle nudges. Trust the moments of calm that follow prayer, the clarity that comes after surrender, the sense of being held even when you don't have all the answers. Heaven's guidance is not a burden, but a blessing, a lightness that lifts you above the noise and draws you into the safety of God's embrace. As you listen, you will find that discernment becomes second nature, and peace becomes your constant companion. Let this counsel settle deep within you. You are protected, you are guided, and you are loved beyond measure. The heaviness of guilt has no place here. Instead, let yourself be led by the lightness of love, the assurance of heaven's watchful care, and the gentle wisdom that comes from above. And as you move forward, you will discover that every step taken in peace is a step into greater freedom, clarity, and joy. As heaven's counsel settles in your heart, you find yourself standing at a quiet crossroads, a sacred fork in the road where the past and the future meet. This is not just a moment of decision, it is a threshold, a place where the old ways of being gently confront the invitation to step into something new. You can feel the weight of it in your spirit, the pull of what is familiar, safe, and known, set against the stirring call of destiny, humility, and truth. Here, the contrast is sharp and undeniable, control versus surrender, pride versus humility, silence versus the courage to speak and be seen. The old path is well worn. It is the path of holding on tightly, of managing every outcome, of keeping your heart guarded behind walls built by disappointment or fear. On this path, pride sometimes masquerades as protection, and silence feels like safety. You know its contours, the way it promises comfort, the way it shields you from risk, the way it allows you to blend in and avoid the vulnerability of being truly known. Yet, beneath the surface, there is a quiet ache, a longing for more than just survival. The old path may offer the illusion of peace, but it is a peace that comes at the cost of your true voice, your true calling, your true joy. The new path, by contrast, is less certain but infinitely more alive. It is the path of destiny, where humility opens doors that pride could never unlock, and truth becomes the foundation for real connection and growth. This path asks you to lay down the need to control, to risk being misunderstood, to trust that God's plans are greater than your own. It is a path that requires courage, the courage to let go of what no longer serves you, to speak when silence would be easier, to step forward even when the outcome is unclear. Here, humility is not weakness but strength, and truth is not a threat but a gift. The stakes are real, both emotionally and spiritually. If you choose the old path, you may find temporary comfort, but you risk missing the fullness of what God has prepared for you. The familiar may feel safe, but it can also become a prison, keeping you bound to patterns that no longer reflect who you are becoming. If you choose the new path, you step into the unknown, but you also open yourself to transformation, to healing, to the kind of peace that only comes from living in alignment with your true purpose. The call of destiny is not always loud, but it is persistent, a gentle invitation to trust, to hope, to believe that there is more for you than what you have known. Imagine, for a moment, what might unfold if you stay where you are. The days may pass quietly, the routines may remain unchanged, but the deeper longing in your heart will not be silenced. The questions will linger, the dreams will wait, and the sense of "what if" will echo in the quiet moments. Now imagine what could open if you step forward, if you choose humility over pride, truth over silence, destiny over comfort. New relationships, new opportunities, new levels of peace and fulfillment await on the other side of your yes. The future is not a threat, it is a promise, waiting to be claimed by those willing to trust the one who calls them forward. This is your invitation, to pause, to listen, to discern which path is calling your name. The comfort of the familiar is real, but so is the call of the future. You are not being asked to leap blindly, but to take one step at a time, guided by the gentle assurance that you are not alone. God walks with you, and every act of humility, every moment of truth, every decision to move forward in faith is met with grace and provision. Let your heart be honest in this moment. Acknowledge the fear, the uncertainty, the desire to hold on to what you know. But also allow yourself to feel the hope, the excitement, the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are chosen for more. The fork in the road is not a place of punishment, but a place of promise, a sacred invitation to leave behind what no longer serves you and to step boldly into the destiny that has been waiting for you all along. As you consider your next step, trust that the path of humility and truth will always lead you closer to the heart of God, and to the life you were created to live. As you stand at the threshold of new possibility, the air seems to thicken with anticipation. You sense that a moment of truth is drawing near, a message, a call, or perhaps a confession that will arrive when you least expect it. This is not just any moment, it is a test, a sacred opportunity to choose how you will respond. Will you react from old wounds, letting past pain dictate your words and actions? Or will you pause, breathe, and allow the Spirit to guide you into a response that is aligned with your true self and your higher calling? The urge to react can be powerful. When emotions run high, when words sting or memories resurface, it is natural to want to defend yourself, to explain, to push back or retreat. But discernment invites you to a different posture, a place of calm strength, where you are neither swept away by the storm nor frozen by fear. In this space, you are invited to use a simple peace test. Before you speak, before you decide, ask yourself, does this bring me closer to peace, or does it pull me deeper into chaos? The answer is often quieter than the noise of your thoughts, but it is unmistakable when you listen with your spirit. Imagine the moment arrives, a text lights up your phone, a voice message plays, or someone stands before you with words that carry weight. Your heart may race, your mind may swirl with possibilities, but you have a choice. You can let the old patterns take over, reacting from a place of hurt or habit. Or you can pause, even for a breath, and invite the Holy Spirit to settle your heart. This is the boundary lens. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to take a moment, to step back, to respond only when you feel anchored in truth and love. There is great strength in restraint, in choosing not to be ruled by the urgency of the moment. The world may expect you to answer quickly, to match energy with energy, to prove your point or defend your worth. But heaven's wisdom is different. A spirit-led response is not rushed, it is rooted. It is not about winning an argument or avoiding discomfort, but about honoring the deeper work God is doing in you. The contrast is clear, the urge to react impulsively, to let the past dictate the present, versus the quiet power of responding from a place of alignment and peace. You may feel pressure, internal or external, to resolve things immediately, to fix what feels broken, to make everything right in a single conversation. But discernment reminds you that not every moment requires your immediate answer. Sometimes, the most faithful thing you can do is to wait, to pray, to let the initial wave of emotion pass before you speak or act. This is not avoidance, it is wisdom. It is the practice of letting peace be your umpire, your guide, your boundary. If you find yourself unsure, remember that God is not in the chaos. His voice is never frantic or condemning. When you are aligned with His Spirit, your response will carry the fragrance of peace, even if it is firm, even if it means saying, "Not yet," or "Not now." You are not responsible for managing others' reactions or expectations. You are responsible for guarding your own heart and honoring the truth within you. Let this be your gentle reminder. You are empowered to choose your response. You are not at the mercy of old wounds or outside pressures. The test is not about perfection, but about presence, about showing up with honesty, humility, and a willingness to let God lead you through the moment. Every time you choose peace over chaos, alignment over reaction, you are building a new legacy, one rooted in faith and freedom. As you move through this imminent moment, trust that you are not alone. The Spirit is with you, offering wisdom, comfort, and clarity. The test is real, but so is your capacity to meet it with grace. And as you do, you will find that each choice made in peace opens the way for greater healing, deeper connection, and the unfolding of the destiny that awaits you just beyond this moment. After the intensity of discernment, your soul may crave a place to rest, a gentle harbor where peace can settle and your spirit can breathe again. In moments when the world feels overwhelming or your heart feels stretched thin, you are invited to anchor yourself in simple, Spirit-led actions that restore calm and remind you of your agency. These are not grand gestures or complicated rituals. They are small, sacred steps that shift you from helplessness to empowerment, from passivity to purposeful alignment. Begin with your breath, the most immediate gift God has given you. As you inhale, whisper quietly, "Peace, be still." As you exhale, release the tension you've been holding, letting it fall away like leaves from a tree. This breath prayer is more than a calming technique. It is a spiritual reset, a way of inviting the presence of God into the very center of your being. Each breath becomes a gentle declaration that you are not alone, that peace is possible, and that you are held in the arms of the one who calms every storm. If you find yourself facing a conversation or situation that stirs anxiety, try offering yourself a one-sentence boundary: "I am allowed to pause and seek peace before I respond." Speak it aloud or write it down, letting the words become a shield around your heart. This simple boundary is not about shutting others out, but about honoring the sacred space within you, a space where God's voice can be heard above the noise. It is a gentle reminder that you do not have to rush, that your worth is not measured by your ability to please or perform, but by your willingness to stay aligned with truth and love. For those moments when your thoughts feel tangled or your emotions swirl, take a few minutes to journal. Ask yourself, where did I feel peace today? Where did I feel tension? Let your pen move without judgment, simply noticing what rises to the surface. This act of reflection is a way of partnering with the Spirit, allowing hidden fears or hopes to come into the light where they can be met with compassion. Over time, you will begin to see patterns, places where God is inviting you to rest, to release, or to step forward with new confidence. These gentle actions are not about fixing everything at once. They are about creating space for God's peace to take root, one breath, one boundary, one honest reflection at a time. The contrast is real. Helplessness may whisper that you are stuck, powerless, or alone, but each small, Spirit-led step is a declaration that you are moving forward, even if only by inches. You are not at the mercy of your circumstances. You are empowered to choose peace, to anchor yourself in the presence of God, and to trust that every gentle action is a seed of transformation. As you practice these rituals, let them become a rhythm, a way of returning, again and again, to the truth that you are beloved, guided, and never without hope. The world may swirl with uncertainty, but you have been given tools to anchor your soul. And as you continue, you will find that peace is not just a fleeting feeling, but a steady companion, guiding you through every season with grace and quiet strength. As you anchor yourself in gentle, Spirit-led actions, you may begin to sense a subtle but unmistakable shift in the atmosphere around you. The turbulence that once seemed unending, the swirl of questions, the ache of uncertainty, the heaviness of waiting, begins to soften. It is as if the storm clouds are parting, letting through the first rays of morning light. This is the promise of near-term confirmation, peace returning, clarity arriving, and the truth finally finding its voice. You are not left in the chaos. You are being led into a season of stillness and reassurance. Within days, you may notice the signs of resolution taking shape. A conversation that once felt impossible suddenly opens with honesty and grace. An answer you have been seeking comes quietly, perhaps in a moment of prayer, a gentle dream, or a word from someone who doesn't even know your story. The confusion that clouded your mind begins to clear, replaced by a sense of knowing, an inner assurance that God has been working behind the scenes all along. The contrast is striking. Where there was once turbulence, now there is a gentle calm. Where there was uncertainty, now there is the steady arrival of truth. This is not to say that every detail will be resolved overnight, or that every question will be answered in the way you expect. But the promise is real. The storm is giving way to stillness. The emotional and spiritual payoff is not just a fleeting relief, but a deep, abiding peace that settles into your bones. You may find yourself breathing easier, sleeping more soundly, or simply feeling lighter as the days unfold. The weight you have carried is being lifted, not by your own striving, but by the faithful hand of God who brings order out of chaos and light out of darkness. Let yourself receive this reassurance. You are not being overlooked or forgotten. The truth of your story is being honored, and the clarity you have longed for is on its way. Sometimes, the confirmation comes in a whisper, a sense of release, a sudden insight, a moment of laughter that breaks through the heaviness. Other times, it arrives in more tangible ways, a message, a breakthrough, a door opening where you thought there was only a wall. However it comes, trust that it is for you, and that it is a sign of God's nearness and care. As you move through these next days, stay open to the gentle arrival of resolution. Notice the small shifts, the quiet answers, the peace that returns in unexpected moments. The turbulence of the recent past is not your permanent address. You are being led into a new chapter marked by stillness, clarity, and hope. Let your heart rest in this truth. The storm is passing, and the calm is here, not just as a promise for the future, but as a reality you can begin to experience now. And as you embrace this season of confirmation, know that you are being prepared for even greater things ahead. The peace you receive now is not just for you, but for those whose lives you will touch with your story of faith, resilience, and hope. The gentle arrival of resolution is a testimony that God is faithful, that He sees you, and that He is always working to bring you into the fullness of His promise. As this message settles in your heart, may you feel the gentle embrace of God's peace wrapping around you like a soft mantle. You are not defined by the old storyline of anxiety, confusion, or waiting in the shadows. Instead, you are invited into a new chapter, one marked by clarity, hope, and the quiet strength that comes from knowing you are seen, loved, and never alone. Let this be your moment to claim peace, to breathe deeply, and to step forward with confidence into all that God has prepared for you. If this word has spoken to your spirit, I invite you to anchor it by sharing in the community below. Comment, "I choose peace," as a declaration of your new beginning, and as a gentle encouragement to others who are walking this journey alongside you. Your voice matters here, and your story is a light for those who may still be searching for reassurance. As you move forward, remember that you are part of a family, connected by faith, strengthened by hope, and guided by the same loving hand. If you're longing for continued guidance and encouragement, the next video in this series is waiting for you, ready to walk with you into deeper understanding and greater peace. The old chapter has closed, a new one is opening, and you are invited to step boldly into it, surrounded by blessing, community, and the promise of God's unfailing love.